I didn't see you coming, did they? They looked at you and saw limits. They saw your setbacks. They saw what you lacked. But what they didn't see, what they couldn't see, was the fire inside you. You see, every person who ever rose beyond expectation started the same way, underestimated. But here's the truth. You don't need anyone to believe in you, as long as you believe in yourself. Your thoughts shape your path. What you think about, you move toward. So let them doubt while they're busy watching your building, quietly, consistently. Let them say you're not ready. You're not here to compete with them anyway. You're here to create something they never imagined. The most powerful thing you can do is take full ownership of your story. Stop waiting for permission. Don't ask if you're good enough. Decide you are. That's when things start to shift. And when it gets tough, and it will, don't fold. Just keep moving, slowly, daily, with calm, unstoppable energy. Because one day they'll look again. They'll look again and see the person they overlooked doing the things they said you couldn't do. Let your progress be your response. Let your results speak louder than their doubt. And remember, you don't have to shout. Just shine. Shock them, not with noise, but with excellence. You become what you think about. Every achievement in human history began first as a thought, an idea formed in the quiet corners of the mind before it ever took shape in the real world. Whether you're aiming to build a business, master a skill, or prove every doubt or wrong, it all begins with how and what you think about most consistently. The mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant and nurture, be it doubt or belief, fear or confidence, limitation or possibility, that's exactly what will grow. So if you're constantly thinking about failure, rejection, or being underestimated, those thoughts will eventually shape your behavior, your actions, and your outcomes. On the other hand, if your mind is fixed on growth, potential, and progress, you'll naturally begin making choices that reflect that inner belief, even if no one else sees it yet. The most powerful realization anyone can have is that we are not victims of circumstance, we are shapers of it. And it starts internally. What you feed your mind becomes the script you live by. If you fill it with empowering thoughts, clear visions of your goals, and a refusal to be defined by someone else's opinion, you set the stage for incredible things to happen. It won't be instant. It rarely ever is. But over time, your consistent inner focus will begin to change how you speak, how you carry yourself, and ultimately how others begin to see you. Not because they suddenly became wiser, but because you became clearer. So, shock them not by arguing with their doubt, but by aligning your thoughts with who you know you truly are. Keep your mind locked on your potential, not their perception. The moment you do that, you're no longer playing their game, you're creating your own. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. There's a myth that success is something that happens all at once, that it shows up one day in the form of a spotlight, a headline, or a life-changing moment. But real success isn't a sudden event. It's a steady journey. It's not about crossing a single finish line, but about waking up every day and moving towards something that deeply matters to you. That's the true measure of success. Progress toward a vision that you have chosen, not one that others have imposed. Many people spend their lives chasing someone else's definition of success, money, status, approval, but none of that brings lasting fulfillment if it isn't tied to a purpose you genuinely believe in. When you commit yourself to a goal that resonates with who you are, something powerful happens. Every small step you take, even the ones no one notices, becomes meaningful. Every obstacle becomes an opportunity to grow. And every win, no matter how small, becomes a sign that you're on the right path. What matters most is not how fast you move, but that you are moving intentionally. You're not here to impress people who doubted you. You're here to live a life that's aligned with your vision. You shock those who underestimated you, not by proving them wrong in a single moment, but by rising consistently, brick by brick, day by day, toward your ideal life. It's in the quiet moments of discipline, the hours you spend working when no one is watching, and the courage it takes to keep going when you're not yet seeing results. Success begins the moment you decide who you want to become and start acting in alignment with that identity. It doesn't come from comparison, shortcuts, or external approval. It comes from building, refining, and staying committed to a purpose that lights you up from the inside. You don't have to have all the answers or a perfect plan. You just need to be in motion. You just need to be clear on what matters to you and be willing to walk toward it with everything you've got. And here's the beautiful irony. When you focus on the journey and the ideal you're chasing, the rewards start to show up on their own, not because you were chasing them, but because you were becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts them. That's why it's not about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. It's about becoming someone who can look in the mirror and say, I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm on the way, and I'm proud of that. When others underestimate you, let it be fuel, not for anger, but for drive. Let their doubt fade into the background while you keep moving forward with clarity, because you know what they don't, that success isn't a title or a number or a viral moment. It's who you become through the process of chasing something meaningful. And when they finally notice, when they realize you've built something real, something solid, something they never saw coming, it won't be because you yelled the loudest or tried to force their respect. It'll be because you stayed the course. Quiet, steady, unshakable. That's success. The progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Keep walking toward yours. Don't compete, create. It's tempting to believe that the only way to succeed is by outshining others. To win, someone else has to lose. To stand out, someone else has to be pushed aside. But that belief, while common, is rooted in scarcity, not truth. The world doesn't need more competition. It needs more creation. And the ones who truly shock everyone who underestimated them are the ones who create something original instead of fighting over what already exists. Competition is about comparison. It pulls your focus outward, making you constantly measure yourself against others, what they have, what they're doing, how far ahead they seem. That mindset can be exhausting. Worse, it can distract you from your own vision. When you compete, you're reacting. But when you create, you're leading. You're no longer chasing someone else's path. You're carving your own. Here's the shift. Stop asking how you can beat others. Start asking how you can build something meaningful, something different, something that reflects who you are. When you do that, you remove yourself from the game they're playing. You're not part of their race anymore. You're walking your own road. And that's where real power is found. People may doubt you. They may not see the value in what you're building at first, but creation is always underestimated at the start. Think about the people who truly changed the world. They didn't win by doing what everyone else was doing just a little bit better. They won by stepping into a space that others ignored, misunderstood, or dismissed. And they kept building quietly, boldly, consistently until the world had no choice but to pay attention. You don't need to prove yourself in a crowded room. You can build your own space, one where your voice, your vision, and your energy are undeniable. Let others fight for attention. You focus on making something so valuable that people want to pay attention, not because you demanded it, but because you created something worth noticing. Creation isn't just about starting a business or launching a project. It's about creating a mindset, a standard, a lifestyle. It's about showing up every day and saying, I'm not here to beat anyone. I'm here to be myself fully. That kind of authenticity is rare, and that's why it stands out. Not just louder, better, more real. And this path of creation, it's not the easier path. It demands vision. It demands patience. It demands that you keep going, even when it feels like no one's watching, even when the results are small and slow. But over time, what you build starts to speak for itself. The consistency, the originality, the depth, it all adds up, and suddenly, the people who once underestimated you aren't just surprised. They're inspired. not because you were better at their game, but because you created your own. So when you feel pressure to prove your worth through competition, pause, turn inward, ask yourself, what am I here to create? That's the question that will lead you forward. That's the mindset that turns underestimation into elevation. Because in the end, the loudest impact doesn't come from being better than others. It comes from being true to yourself and building something only you could bring into the world. So stop competing, start creating. Let that be the way you shock everyone who doubted you. Responsibility equals power. There's a pivotal moment in every person's journey when they stop pointing outward and start looking inward. That moment, though subtle, changes everything. Because when you take full responsibility for your life, your choices, your growth, and your future, you unlock a level of power most people never access. It's easy to blame circumstances. It's easy to say you weren't given the same opportunities, resources, or support as others. And maybe that's true. But here's what's more powerful. Deciding that despite all of that, you're still going to rise. The people who shock the world are rarely the ones who had it easiest. They're the ones who decided not to wait for permission or perfect conditions. They stopped giving energy to what they couldn't control and started pouring everything they had into what they could. That's what responsibility looks like. Not blame, not guilt, but ownership. The kind of ownership that says, no one's coming to save me, so I'm going to become the person who saves myself. Responsibility isn't a burden. It's a gift. Because the moment you accept it fully, you reclaim your power. You stop being a passenger in your own life and start driving it. Yes, the road might be rough. Yes, you may have to start further back than others. But when it's your hands on the wheel, your energy in motion, and your decisions guiding your direction, you're no longer limited by anyone else's expectations. This mindset is rare. Most people give their power away without realizing it. They say, I can't do this because of them, or I'd be further if they hadn't held me back. And the world is quick to agree. But here's the truth. Blaming others may feel justified in the moment, but it won't move you forward. Only responsibility does that, and when you take it fully, when you say everything in my life is my responsibility, whether I create it or not, you become unstoppable. Why? Because you've taken back control. You can't always choose what happens to you, but you can always choose how you respond. You can choose to learn, to grow, to adapt, to rise. That's what separates those who shock everyone from those who stay stuck. Not talent, not luck, but responsibility. It's the willingness to look at your life and say, this is mine, and I'm going to make it count. And when people underestimate you, this mindset becomes your secret weapon. While they're focused on what you lack, you're focused on what you're building. While they waste time judging, you're using that time to improve. While they wait for the perfect moment, you're creating momentum in the middle of imperfection. That's the power of owning your life fully. Responsibility doesn't mean being hard on yourself. It means being honest with yourself. It means asking, what can I do better? What can I control? How can I rise from this? And every time you answer that question and act on it, you become stronger. You become the kind of person no one saw coming. So, if you've been underestimated, good. Let that be the spark. But don't wait for their validation. Take ownership of your journey. Take responsibility for your progress. That's how you build real power, the kind that doesn't just silence doubt. It transforms it into fuel. Because the truth is simple. The more responsibility you take for your life, the more powerful your life becomes. Persistence and calm determination win. In a world obsessed with instant results, overnight success, and viral moments, there's a quiet force that continues to shape the most powerful lives behind the scenes. It's not flashy. It doesn't make headlines. But it's the very reason some people rise above the noise and shock everyone who ever doubted them. That force is persistence, guided by calm, steady, unshakable determination. Persistence isn't about grinding in chaos or running on adrenaline. It's not fueled by loud declarations or quick wins. True persistence is built on the kind of internal stability that doesn't flinch when things get tough. It's the quiet voice that says, I'm not stopping. Not now. Not ever. No matter who walked away, no matter how long it takes, and no matter how many times you've been overlooked, people who shock the world aren't always the most talented or the most noticed. They're simply the ones who didn't quit. They kept showing up. When doors closed, they knocked again. When they fell, they got up slower maybe, but stronger. While others got discouraged and turned back, they adjusted their grip, took a breath, and kept climbing. You see, real strength isn't loud. It's not desperate for recognition. It's focused, calm, intentional. And that kind of steady inner drive is what builds momentum that lasts. It's easy to be enthusiastic when everything's going right, but it's when things go silent, when results aren't showing, when support fades, when doubts get loud, that persistence proves itself. The ones who make it through those seasons are the ones who change everything, not because they were loud, but because they were consistent. Calm determination isn't a passive trait. It's active. It's a daily choice. It says, I know who I am. I know what I'm building. And I'm not here to race. I'm here to last. That's how you win long term, not by burning bright and fast, but by staying lit through every storm. Because storms will come. There will be rejection, failure, delays. People will doubt you, ignore you, and maybe even laugh at you. But your power is in how little that sways you. Imagine this. Two people have the same goal. One rushes, pushes, tries to force it all to happen overnight. The other moves steadily, refining their craft, learning from every step, getting better instead of bitter. Who do you think gets there in the end? It's always the one who never stopped moving forward, even when it was slow, even when it was quiet. Persistence means deciding, really deciding, that quitting isn't an option. It's not dramatic. It's not emotional. It's just a deep, unshakable knowing. I'm not done yet. You may adjust your methods. You may pause to breathe, but you don't give up. That mindset changes everything. And what about the calm? Why does it matter? Because chaos burns energy. Panic burns bridges. Desperation clouds judgment. Calm, on the other hand, gives you clarity. It lets you think. It keeps your emotions grounded and your purpose in sight. When you can keep your inner world steady, no outer storm can shake you. People will underestimate you because you don't make a lot of noise. That's fine. Let them. The most dangerous person in any room is the one who doesn't get rattled. They think you're not moving. They think you're not winning, but all the while you're building something solid, something real. And one day they'll turn around and realize they can't ignore you anymore, not because you shouted the loudest, but because you outlasted the noise. That's what calm determination looks like. You don't react to every opinion. You don't chase every trend. You stay close to your mission and you keep going. And when people finally see the results of what you've been working on, when the progress becomes undeniable, it won't feel like a sudden success to you because you'll remember the long nights, the quiet battles, the days when no one clapped, but you showed up anyway. That's when the victory is sweetest, not because it was easy, but because it was earned. So if you've been overlooked, doubted, or underestimated, let that be part of your story, but not the part that defines you. Let your response be relentless persistence. Let your energy be calm and collected. Don't get pulled into distractions. Don't waste your time trying to convince anyone. Just keep showing up, keep improving, keep building. Because every step you take, even if it feels small, is proof that you haven't given up. And that's powerful. That's rare. That's the kind of mindset that not only gets you to your goal, it transforms who you are along the way. And in the end, that's what shocks the world. Not sudden fame, not a flashy comeback, but someone who refused to stop, someone who stayed the course, Someone who rose with quiet, calm, relentless power. That someone can be you.